Poised for Exit is a show for business owners who want to achieve a successful exit based on their own terms. Your business exit will likely be the biggest financial transaction of your life, and for most, you'll have one shot at doing it right. The topics and guests we feature and the stories they share will provide valuable ideas and strategies to improve operations and grow enterprise value so you can achieve the best possible exit outcome. Now here's your host, award-winning certified exit planning advisor, Julie Keys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Poised for Exit. Our special guest today is the president of the local chapter of the Exit Planning Institute. We are going to be talking with him about his plans for the growth of the chapter and how it's evolved since it launched in 2016, so stay with us. Are you a business owner getting ready to transition? If so, I recommend True North Mergers and Acquisitions as your confidential strategic partner. They understand your business sale isn't just about one buyer and the price, but what you net that counts. In other words, what you get to keep. When you're ready for a higher level of representation that delivers consistent results, contact True North M&A to do the heavy lifting of selling your business. Learn more at tnma.com. That's tnma.com.
Selling your business may be the furthest thing from your mind, but that doesn't mean you should wait to plan. At TrustPoint, we understand the nuances that come with selling a business and are here to guide you. From unlocking tax efficiencies to minimizing risk, we'll develop the strategies to ensure you're prepared. So, when the time arrives, you'll be ready to enjoy the best years of your life. Learn more at TrustPointInc.com. That's TrustPointinc.com.
For business owners, it can be overwhelming to start planning a transition or exit strategy, but it's so important to avoid unwanted outcomes and unexpected tax bills. The CPAs at JAK, John A. Knutson and Company, can guide you and help make sense of the numbers. Our firm was established over 90 years ago, and we've assisted countless companies with ownership transitions. Leaving your business is a process that takes time, so contact us today to discuss your situation. Visit our website at jakcpa.com. That's jakcpa.com.
My name is Todd Krough, and I'm the president of the Twin Cities Exit Planning Chapter. If you're a business owner and advisor and want to learn more about the world of exit planning, you're invited to visit the Twin Cities chapter of the Exit Planning Institute. You can expect top-level education delivered by subject matter experts at every monthly meeting. Grow your network and draw from the learning that could be a game changer for your business or your practice. There's no pressure to become a member, so come and see what the buzz is all about. Our meetings are held the second Wednesday of the month, 7:30 to 9 a.m. See the show notes for more information and registration links.
Hello, everyone. We are in the studio today with Todd Krough, who is the president of the Twin Cities Exit Planning Institute chapter here in the Twin Cities. So excited to have you in the studio again, Todd. And you're the new leader.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great to be back. It's,
Yeah.
I think, my third time.
Yeah. It's good. It's all good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the first time you were on the show, we talked about your work as a wealth manager.
Yes.
And now we have you in the studio talking about the leadership of the chapter, which I know that you've got some big plans and we got some really cool things coming up over the next year or so.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about you and a little bit about your background and what you do. So our listeners who aren't familiar with who you are can connect there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a wealth advisor, and I run the wealth management group for Minnesota Bank and Trust. And by the way, just on Monday, legally, we now are a division of UMB Bank. And UMB Bank is a large commercial bank. In fact, I think we're in the top 4% of publicly traded banks now. So $65 billion behind us. So I'm pretty excited to all the resources are going to be available for us.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And then will they remain Minnesota Bank and Trust then?
The name officially is probably going to change sometime this summer, later in the year. We'll keep the name for now as a division of UMB, but we will become UMB probably sometime later this year.
Good. Right. Well, here we are. You are the new chapter president of Twin Cities metro area. And, you know, for the listeners who aren't familiar, when we launched this chapter in 2016, we took Twin Cities metro area as a name because of what it meant, according to some of the other people that were on the steering committee, who were from like Hudson, Wisconsin and that area. And that is included, I guess, in the Twin Cities metro area geographically, right?
Yes.
So that's why we named it that. I just wanted to throw that out there in case people didn't know.
You know, I mean, thank you to you. I mean, by the way, I'm the third president, and it's pretty rare. I think there's 25 plus chapters.
Yeah.
I think we're the only chapter that's had more than one president. So, you ran for the first 4 years, and then Mark Hegstrom. And I think it was you and Diane and Sean that really got the chapter going.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. How did you guys decide to start it? Because you all got your CEPAs, I think. You were one of the few
Yeah.
people that had CEPAs. But how did you decide to start the chapter?
We just had a meeting, and so Ben Flotimish and Sean Sima were fresh out of CEPA, but ahead of Diane and I. Diane and I came along a few months later and got our certifications, and we had a meeting and said, should we launch a chapter? And we all said, yeah, we need to launch a chapter. But, in those days, there was some direction, but nothing like they have now. So for anybody out there who's listening and thinking, yeah, I think I want to launch a chapter in my area, EPI has some really great resources and processes that we kind of blaze the trail for.
Yeah, and I think anybody that is out there listening to reach out to me, too. In fact, I
absolutely.
spoke to a couple of people in Des Moines. I think they're starting a chapter.
Oh, good.
I think St. Louis is going to start a chapter. They already have.
Good.
And then we talked to the gentleman. Did you meet the gentleman from Kansas City? So they're up and running, so we kind of help them, and they're all very thankful of us and you
Fantastic.
for getting the chapter going. Yeah.
Here you are, and you're getting all kinds of calls from people. That's so good. Well,
Yes.
you've been involved with the chapter for such a long time. I mean, it just makes so much sense for you to, be at the helm right now.
Yeah, I've been there since 2016. I think I probably went to like the second meeting, and I think I've attended almost every single meeting.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of sense for me, obviously, then to get the CEPA, which I got in 2020 during COVID. And I think, one statistic that I think is very interesting, I think when you guys started out, say there was 3, 4, 5, 6 CEPAs, which is Certified Exit Planning Advisor, and I think today in Minnesota there's well over 100. So that says a lot about that certification. And I
Yeah.
think it says something about the community too. We looked at some statistics, and we talk about the owner survey. So for anybody that doesn't know, we did 2 surveys, and I think we're the only chapter that's done 2 surveys, one in 2017 and one in 2023. So an interesting stat, it said that in 2017, only 6% of the owners stated that exit planning was a top priority. Okay, so what's changed? Well, in 2023, almost 30% said that exit planning was a priority.
Wow.
I think that says something about us. I mean, again,
Oh,
we've
absolutely.
tripled the amount of CEPAs.
Yeah.
You've increased the amount of awareness around the community. So I know
Totally.
that's one of the things that we were going to talk about. But I think our chapter, CEPAs, I think maybe we'll go in and talk about that, but what's
Yeah.
the term exit or transition? I think it's much more out there in the community.
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
going to just say that exit planning now is a thing.
Absolutely.
When I first got certified in 2015, people would ask, well, what do you do? And I'd say, well, I'm an exit planner. And they'd say, well, do you help people exit the planet? I'd say, no, not that kind of exit. But,
Yeah.
I remember Scott Snyder saying the same thing, that people would ask him that because they weren't familiar. But now in business circles, social circles, even in business owners themselves, like in their own, right, there's comfortable conversation going on about that. Doesn't mean they're moving any faster.
Yeah.
But I think that with the awareness, then comes the action, right? And I think that between you and I and everybody that is involved in the CEPA community, we have really helped move the needle on the awareness side of things, right?
No question. That's why I say take a look at the survey, and there's been there's quite a difference from
Yeah.
2017 to 2023. And I think we've had a pretty significant impact. And I think one of the questions I know that we were going to talk about is, what do CEPAs do that maybe are a little bit different? I don't know if we do something that's that much different, but the fact that I think that we do kind of follow the value acceleration method, right? Which is what a lot of CEPAs typically are going to follow. And so discover, we're going to sit down and do a business valuation, look at the personal, financial, and business. And then we look at to prepare. So we look at the financial planning. And then I think at that point, it's really a decision of whether they grow or exit. And, our last year's owners forum was actually called Grow or Go, which is really what it's all about. We're
It
not
is.
necessarily, everybody, we as professionals that work with business owners, we're not necessarily just there only for the exit. There could be a situation where, hey, we want them to grow. Might take them 5 years to get the proper exit. We might help them with an additional purchase. Maybe they're going to buy another business or something like that. So there is, I think, getting in there and doing that business, what we call transition, but they could still grow. So I think, but we as CEPAs, I think one of the things that we also, I think that's beneficial is that we don't work in silos. We
Right.
work together. So
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we talked about, and I said that in my first meeting as the president, that I think we need to do more collaboration. I
Yeah.
just think that I think there's better outcomes for the owners
Yeah.
if we're talking amongst each other. There might be a quarterback like you, but if you bring in the wealth advisor, you bring in the attorney, you bring in the accountant, maybe the insurance person, we just can't work separately. We can't just have that silo. We need
Yeah.
to be talking with each other, and of course the business owner.
Well, and I always say there isn't one single advisor that ever has all the answers anyway. For any owner out there who, is thinking that their CPA or whatever other advisor they might work with regularly is all they need, that isn't the case. And like you said, it is about collaboration. And if it's the only chance you have to sell your, hard-won nest egg, then by golly, you want to make sure that you do it right and have good advice, right? We don't want to leave money on the table. We don't want to live to regret the decision to sell, which so many owners statistically do regret. And so we're, as CEPAs, we're kind of out to change that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in one of the earliest surveys, I think only like 20% of the owners were satisfied with their exit.
Yeah.
Right? Now, part of that might have been they left some money on the table, or they didn't know what to do after, or they thought they should have bought another business. I think that's getting better, though.
I agree. I think it is getting better too, because there are more people out there like us, advisors, who actually know and understand the process. And, to your point about, what is the difference for a business owner working with a CEPA versus someone who's not? And I think we understand, first of all, why it's important to have someone who knows the process, right? We know what the process is. We know who needs to be involved and when. And we also know how to do it. And all of those things really do impact that significant transition for that business owner, more so than an advisor who isn't quite as familiar. Maybe, I'm not saying that owners don't have really good advisors who are non-CEPAs. There's plenty of them out there, as we know. And there are plenty who already understand the process too, but there are also plenty who don't. And so, if you're an owner and you're listening to this right now, just kind of rethink that. Like, who's on my team? What do they know? Do I have anybody who has this expertise? So at least one person on that collaborative team should have that background.
Well, and just making sure that they're comfortable. And again, it'd be great if everybody got together, maybe with the owner one time, all face-to-face, but making sure that they're all been able to connect and ask each other questions so that they're all on the same page.
Yeah, totally. That's really what it's all about. You know what it kind of reminds me of, and we're going to talk about the Owners Forum in a minute here, but we were hosting an Owners Forum. This was a few years ago, and we assembled a panel of owners who were telling their exit story. And we had just done a session on building a collaborative team. And one of the owners said, I wish when I was going through this process that I would have known about working with collaborative teams, because he said, my team, all they did was fight. He said it kept me up at night. I didn't know if my deal was going to close. They were fighting all the time about who was right. And he said it was really a scary time. and he said it could have been so much better if I would have had a team that actually worked together and I didn't have to get involved in breaking them up.
Absolutely.
That should never happen.
Well, and I remember listening to a story that Scott told about his dad, Chris, and helping an owner through an exit. And I think one of the concerns of the owners, well, if I've got all these different professionals working, how much more money is it going to cost me? And at the end of the day, I think that because he brought all these professionals together to work together, I think that the value of the business went from something like $20 million to $30 million. And he said, I think it was worth the extra $10 million.
I think
the little fee that we pay for that extra $10 million.
Little fee for that
Exactly.
extra 10, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we mean by leaving money on the table, don't we?
Yes.
We're not talking about chunk change.
Right.
Oh, boy. So I want to talk about the impact that the chapter has had on your practice. And for the advisors who are out there listening, whether you're in the Twin Cities or not, maybe you're in a different market and maybe you've thought about either starting a chapter for EPI or becoming a member of a chapter. Let's just talk about what the chapter's done for us, because I think that is helpful for others who aren't familiar.
Well, I think what it's done is it's given me the credibility. I knew that I wanted to start working with business owners. And, unlike you, who's owned a business and owns a business, I've been a wealth advisor. So interesting stat, by the way, I think most of the CEPAs today, almost 50% of the CEPAs are wealth advisors. Again, and the benefit to us is that, we are working with the client before, during, and after. A lot of the advisors are maybe going to be not necessarily a one and done,
Right.
but they're going to be gone once the
Yeah.
say the business. has
We're
been
only there
sold.
for a duration. That's like me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think the benefit that it's given me, the CEPA, is just being able to put myself in the shoes of a business owner. I can talk all the finance till I'm blue in the face, but going through all of the stresses of what a business owner goes through, and now that I work for a commercial bank, let's face it, my commercial bank is 80% we're commercial. We do have wealth, we do have retail, we do have private, but I am working with a lot of business owners. And
Right.
the commercial bankers have business owners. So I think they're more comfortable in referring me clients to be able to sit down with them because I have that CEPA background.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you look at it from a more holistic approach, right? Not just your swim lane, but like, okay, let's look at what you have going on here.
Yes.
Yeah. And, to your point about, beginning, middle, and end, you are like, I always say this, that the financial planner, financial advisor is the most important person at the table. Because of that, right? You got the best picture, the best understanding of what's going on with the owner, not only in the business, but in their personal life. And you are there after all of us go away. So, yeah, that's a very important thing to know. So, the chapter isn't just for advisors, right? And when we look at the future of the chapter and growing the chapter, tell us about your vision. What would you like to see happen?
Well, I think that, first of all, if I mess this up, I'm really screwing up because you guys have done such a good job. In fact,
you won't.
Well, we did some metrics. I went to a president's meeting last year, and they said that our chapter was always in the top, 5 because of attendance, because of our content, etc. But I think that going forward, I think the word that I used was collaboration. We're not here for just our health. I mean, we can all learn online. We get 30 to 40 people that are professionals that attend these meetings every month. We've got really good turnout. But I think the key is that we do need to collaborate. And I think that, we have the opportunity to network before, after, collect business cards. But I think that once we start getting clients, that we do need to pull from each other and say, hey, how do we collaborate? And I think we're doing a better job of that. I mean, I'm starting to see that statistically. I'm seeing more of the professionals that we work with talking about that. We even talked about maybe we have some kind of a chat line within the website or LinkedIn so that we can ask questions. But I just want to keep enhancing what we've got going, and I think collaboration is the key for this year.
Yeah, and our next meeting that we have coming up, you're going to be speaking on collaboration through a case study, right?
Yes. So for anybody that's interested, next Wednesday we do have a meeting. We meet every second Wednesday at Helmuth and Johnson. Start at 7:45. So you can go on the Twin Cities Exit Planning website and take a look at the content that's coming up. But yeah, next week we're going to actually go through a case study. So we'll get the case studies out to everybody beforehand. I'm going to lead that, and then we're going to break up into groups. And it's really, kind of our vision, right? We want to have, so we're going to have a wealth advisor, someone like yourself, maybe an attorney and a CPA in that group, and go through the case study and then come back with real solutions.
Yeah, I think that will be a great way for people to get to know each other and kind of look at the cross-discipline approach when it comes to exit planning, because that's really what it's all about. And we want any business owner out there who's listening, who's in our area, please know that you're welcome to attend any chapter meeting anytime. And we have nobody's going to glom onto you, right? We have kind of an unwritten rule where we don't solicit. So you're welcome to come and, feed your mind with really good content and help yourself prepare. And the owners that we've had over the years have really enjoyed coming to the meetings, and they always come to the Owners Forum. Our Owners Forum is coming up again this fall, and so let's speak to the Owners Forum for a minute.
Yep, so we do have a date set, October 19th. We're going to do it at Midland Hills Country Club.
Is it 19th or 9th?
I think it's the 9th.
Okay.
Did I say 9th? Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
9th.
October
And,
9th,
Yeah,
yep.
so I think it's either the second Wednesday,
Yeah.
and we've done this now for, I think it's 8 years. Have we done it every year? I think we've almost done it every single year.
We
We might have
just-
had one COVID year.
One
that we
COVID
have-
year we did not, but yeah.
Yeah. And so right now we don't necessarily have a theme because we're waiting to hear from National. Scott Snyder might actually run it for us, but we're going to find out by March 1st, but definitely put down the date of October 9th. And this is where, last year I think we had almost 140 attendees, but this is where we really want business owners to attend. I mean, and again, the theme last year was Grow or Go. So True North spoke. and we brought in a speaker. So I think it'll be a similar theme.
Yes.
But this is definitely something. And like Julie said, I mean, we're not a group of professionals that are going to come in because you're a business owner. Everybody's going to, like you said, glob onto you.
Yeah.
We want you to be able to learn and learn from each other.
Yeah.
But the owners forum, we definitely would love for you to attend.
Yeah, that it's really for the owner, right?
Absolutely.
It's a forum for the owner to gather information and gather actionable information so that when they walk out the door, they have some kind of marching orders like, okay, I know I need to do X, Y, Z. So over the next couple of months, these are the things that I'm going to do, meet with my advisors, start having the conversation with my stakeholders, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and I've had very positive feedback from that. A lot of the
Same.
business owners that come. So yeah.
It is definitely an event. That's why we keep having it, because we do get the feedback that it has been helpful and it does make a difference, and that's really what we're all about, right? Anything else? What else, like for 2025, what do we have to look forward to with the Twin Cities chapter?
Well, again, we do have the format. We go out at least till July. So again, it's the second Wednesday of every month at
Yep.
Helmuth and Johnson. Please attend that. Look at our website. We're going to have content that we've got to put together for the fall. But I think you're going to see collaboration. I think you're going to have great content. I think the more that we can get the word out there, the better that we're going to help the overall community of advisors working with business owners.
Agreed, for sure. Well, Todd, thank you so much for being here and allowing me to pick your brain on what you're planning to do with this chapter that I love so much. You're doing a great job, and you have a lot of respect, and you know that we're here to support, and obviously we're here to support the business owners. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. Please join us again next time.